Shalom, 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 Yasha Allah. This your boy, Brother Shamuel Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called, Let the Weak Say I Am Strong. Let the weak say I am strong. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who have ruled well to the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days of mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. All right. Like I said, today's lesson, let the weak say I am strong. All right. And I saw this video. Venezuela announces massive mobilization of military. All right. And we know that the tensions between Babylon and Venezuela have been increasing. And let me just play this. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
Venezuela is ordering a massive mobilization of its military as the United States sends more of its own firepower to the region.
Amantes de la paz.
We love peace. We deeply love peace. We don't want war here nor in any other place around the world. But if they dare to touch Venezuela, they're going to find us in every street.
Right, you heard that. All right. Let the weak say I am strong. All right. And we know how Babylon loves to go against the the small folks, all right, and try to exhort their bullying, all right. Let's keep watching a little bit, and then I'm gonna skip to a point, all right. So fair use, fair use, fair use.
The announcement came after America's largest warship arrived in U.S. Southern Command area of operations. That area includes most of Latin America. We've got CNN senior national security reporter Zach Cohen in Washington.
All right, so they sent their largest warship, all right, to Venezuela, all right, trying to exhort their power right over a small nation. All right, but let the weak say I am strong. All right, and we know that's going into let the weak say I'm strong is going into the valley of Yahawashi. All right, but in this case we see it. All right, people are not afraid of Babylon the Great anymore. All right, and why is Venezuela not? Well, let me skip to this part real quick. The part where I want it. Let's see. Slovakia. Let's play right here. Slovakia.
Possibility. So if I were Maduro, I'd be looking at this and I'd be concerned, to say the least. The Russians have moved some equipment into Venezuela. They have Cuban help already.
Yeah, you heard that? Said the Russians have moved in, right? Gog has moved in some equipment. All right, let me play that again.
The form of intelligence support and a possibility. So if I were Maduro, I'd be looking at this and I'd be concerned, to say the least. The Russians have moved some equipment into Venezuela. They have Cuban help already in the form of intelligence support and weapons support. So there is definitely an effort going on within Venezuela and with Venezuela's allies to build up the Venezuelan forces.
All right, so you hear it. All right, let the weak say I am strong. All right, let's just get a couple of scriptures. Right, we're not gonna make this too long. All right, let's go. But we see, all right, you see these things, taking part. All right, And the one thing that, Babylon doesn't want to really mess with is Gog, right? Gog of Magog, Russia. All right. But they'll try to pick on all the other little people. But what you're seeing is all the little people have teamed up with Gog and Magog. All right. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24. I'm going to start at verse 3, and I'm going to jump down. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Salakia. And Yahawashi answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. It says, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All right. And you see all these things happening right now. All right. In these times. All right. Just as Yahawashi said they would be. All right. And right now, you have, Babylon, man, who, he, always has to flex and show, show their, their power and their might, just like a bully. All right. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. It says, Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. All right. They can't stay at home. All right. So they got to be up in other people's places. All right. You see now they're taking their military stuff and heading towards Venezuela. All right. Towards the island, near the Caribbean. All right. Because this is what they do. All right. They try to flex their muscle on people. But what they don't understand is, nobody's afraid of them anymore. All right. And that's why I got Joel. Right. And we know that that's, talking about the valley of Yahawashi. All right. The judgment on the nations. All right. But, when I saw that, it was one of the first things that came to my mind is Joel chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right. That's what they're doing. All right. Basically, that military guy said, you're just going to, if Babylon wants to do it, they're going to F around and find out. All right. They're going to F around and find out. All right. And as you see, as you're trying to, go around and try to pick on the these little or weaker nations. All right. Guess who's there? Let's go to Ezekiel 38. Start at verse 1. And it says, And the word of Yahawah Bahasham came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against it. Verse number 4 says, And I will turn thee back, and put hooks in thy jaws. All right. The Lord is going to maneuver. All right. Gog, which is Russia. All right. I'm going to basically manipulate them. All right. To do my will. All right. It says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. All right. You put a hook in a horse's jaw and then you direct them that way. That's how the Lord is going to be doing with Gog. It says, And I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company of bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. All right. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya with them. All of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands. The house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands and many people with thee. Right. And you see, Gog or Russia has, accumulated a lot of allies, So you see how, when you go to Jeremiah, how this place is going to be, hit on every side, by all these nations, man, that are angry with this, You have the BRICS, right, which I believe is what is that? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. You can correct me if I'm wrong. All right, you have those. All right, with other nations, joining. But you have, you saw, you got Cuba, right, or Manasseh, right? They're sending help along with Gog. All right, to help Venezuela out. All right, so Babylon wants to try to punk these little folks, and ultimately, the Lord is setting them up a trap. All right, what is that? Jeremiah 50, and let's start up a little bit. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 22. It says, "The sound of a battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?" All right, because eventually Gog is going to lead that this war against Babylon. All right, and ultimately, these other nations are going to shoot these ICBM missiles at this place. All right, now we understand, prophecy that the MOTB and different things have to happen before the said destruction of Babylon. But you see the stage being set. All right, you see how the horrors, they're being hated by many countries, even their allies at this point. All right. It says, "How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi." All right, the Lord is going to put them in a trick bag. All right, so as they try to go and bully these other nations, what you see happening is they're getting backed by Gog. All right, by Russia. All right, who's going to lead, the charge against Babylon. All right, and with these other nations, all right, those ICBM missiles, they're going to lay this place desolate. Okay. Let's jump down. Well, let's jump to 25. It says, "Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation." It says, "For this is the work of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, the most high power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the uttermost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as in heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left." Okay, because they're going to completely destroy this place, man. All right, Babylon the Great is going down. All right, and as they try to continue to pick on these small nations, hey, they're not having it no more. All right, let the weak say I am strong. All right, so I just wanted to do this quick lesson. Lord's will, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Kohala Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash, peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad. A mighty shalom to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have ruled well to the spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Another mighty shalom to the rest of the elect in the household of faith. All right, we continue to pray, all right, for the destruction of this place, man. All right, and the downfall of Babylon the Great. All right, continue to make, your enemies angry. All right, so the Lord's anger will continue to be kindled and come against you. All right, and with that, we say a ball, and shalom.